Next speaker is
Like,
Grainne Molloy, and Grainne is going to, her title of her presentation is Know, Check, Ask, and the My Medicines list.
thanks very much. Let me just share my slides here. So hopefully everyone can see these. So you're all very welcome. It's great to see so many attending. Today I will be presenting on Know, Check, Ask and the My Medicines list. And my name is Grainne Molloy, and I work in the National Medication Safety Programme, which sits under Quality and Patient Safety Directorate in the HSE. So just to give you a quick overview, my presentation will be about 15 minutes, and hopefully we should have time for a couple of questions at the end. So I'll talk you through what is the National Medication Safety Programme, the World Health Organization Global Patient Safety Challenge, transitions of care, the Know, Check, Ask campaign, the My Medicines list, and other such resources that are available. And then we'll just finish with some suggested actions that you guys can take away with you. So what is the National Medication Safety Programme? So we work with patients and healthcare providers to reduce patient harm associated with medicines or their omission. Medication is the most common cause of avoidable harm in healthcare. And just our website is available at hse.ie/safermeds, and there's lots of useful resources available on there. And if anyone doesn't feel comfortable enough to ask questions at the end, don't be afraid to email us at safermeds@hse.ie. So medication without harm. So medication without harm is the current World Health Organization Global Patient Safety Challenge. This is because medication is the most common cause of avoidable harm in healthcare. So the challenge aims to reduce severe avoidable medication-related harm by 50% in 5 years. In order to achieve such an ambitious goal, big changes are needed. So the WHO has identified that polypharmacy, transitions of care, and high-risk medicines are associated with the greatest burden of harm. And these are the priority areas for action. So these are in the inner circle there, the white piece with the blue writing. So if you look at the chart, you'll see the 4 domains of the challenge: patients and the public, healthcare professionals, medicines, and systems and practices of medication. So you'll also note the subdomains as well in that wheel. It's all very colourful. Actions are needed across the system, supporting patient involvement and safety, healthcare professionals, improving and strengthening the systems and practices of medication use, and ensuring that the medicines, the products, are as safe as possible. Transitions of care. So when a medication history is taken routinely, for example, at a clinic or on admission, error and omissions are common. So you'll see here from the slide, 41% of patients had at least one medication error or omission at admission to hospital, and 56% of patients experienced prescribing errors and miscommunication at the time of discharge. So as you can see from the infographic there on the right-hand side of the slide, it's because it is challenging to get the complete and correct information and to communicate it across the transition. Each person in the process has access to different information. The prescriber will have a record of medicines they prescribed for the person. The community pharmacy will have a record of medicines they've dispensed for the person, and they may also be aware that the person has a prescription which they have not requested to be dispensed. So people also buy medicine over the counter in pharmacies, and while the pharmacy team will be aware of that at the time, no record is kept of this. The person themselves will take the medicine as prescribed sometimes. They may take medicine differently to the prescription, either intentionally or indeed unintentionally. They may stop taking the prescribed medicine, and the prescriber and pharmacy may not be aware of this. They may also take over-the-counter medicines and supplements, and again, the prescriber and the pharmacy may not be aware. So it's all very complex, as most of you well know. So taking a better medication history. Following the process that the World Health Organization calls the best possible medication history is really important to improve medication safety at transitions of care. So 2 sources are required. One must be the person. It is essential to understand what the person is taking. People who use a memory aid, such as a medicines list, can recall and communicate their medicines more accurately than those who do not. The other source should be a source of information which we know from Irish research is reliable. We know that where somebody is resident in a nursing home, the nursing home transfer or contacting the nursing home is 91 to 100% in agreement with the gold standard medication history. Contacting the community pharmacy or the GP practice are also reliable sources here. Although they may be quite readily available, research tells us that the other sources listed here are simply not reliable enough for verification of the medication history. Remember, no single source is completely accurate, and both steps are required to get a better history. So the No Check Ask campaign. So the No Check Ask campaign is a public campaign, and it's part of the World Health Organization's Medication Without Harm Challenge. So the aim of the campaign is to encourage those taking medication and their caregivers to take an active role in managing their medication and discussing it with healthcare professionals. It encourages people to know their medicines and to keep a list, to check that they are using the right medicine in the right way, and to ask their healthcare professional if they're unsure. The campaign inspires real agency and empowerment in patients, and it supports people to be more involved in decisions about their healthcare and medication, and to encourage them to report issues and concerns about their medication, and to keep an up-to-date My Medicines list. So the medicines list. My Medicines list is, there's a screenshot of it there on the right-hand side of the page. It's the key action point in the HSE's No Check Ask campaign. Everyone who takes regular medicines is encouraged to keep an up-to-date list of their current medication. Keeping a medicines list can help individuals know and keep track of their medicines. It can also help when discussing medicines with a healthcare professional. It's a self-management and communication tool. So encourage patients to fill out a list, to share with anyone involved in their healthcare, and to share it with staff at all healthcare appointments. So make it easy to use, make it available, ask for it, and don't forget to give it back to the patient. So Bernie O'Reilly, the chair of Patients for Patient Safety Ireland, is an incredibly articulate woman, and in her words about the My Medicines list, I recognise the importance of encouraging everyone on medication to keep their own medicines list. Healthcare systems are not seamless, and the information we share as individuals contributes to our own safety. The HSE My Medicines list provides an excellent template for this. Medication is the most applied intervention in patient care. An up-to-date medicines list captures vital information for sharing at every healthcare interaction. When the question is, what medication are you taking? The answer is, I have it listed here on my medicines list. So let's talk about some of our resources. Again, our website is hse.ie/safermeds, and there's just a screenshot there of the main kind of areas on the website. So get started would be for people who use medicines and their families, and carers of course as well. Get involved is for healthcare professionals, and then on the resources section we have all the My Medicines lists, posters and videos. So the My Medicines list is now more accessible than ever before, and we just got an Irish translation made up a couple of weeks ago. So there's the English version, and then there's 52 translations. So the translations are available for download from our website under the resource section, and the My Medicines list in English are available to order on request from healthpromotion.ie. So that's free and it's incredibly prompt. You just need to sign up for an account in order to use that. Here are just a few examples of the various different translations of the My Medicines list. And as I say, Irish is our newest translation, now available from the website. Here's just a screenshot of our video. It's an instructional video in English, and as well as that, there's Irish Sign Language on it, and it illustrates how and why to use a My Medicines list. So you can email us to request MP4 copies of this for your waiting rooms in any public areas, just to promote the No Check Ask campaign. So there is also a healthcare professional message to know the medicines you're prescribing, dispensing, administering, or monitoring, to check the details that you have the right patient, medicine, route, dose, and time, and to ask, engage fully with patients to ensure shared understanding and shared decisions about their medicines. We encourage all staff to complete the Medication Without Harm e-learning on HSE land, and you'll see just a screenshot of that on the right side of this slide. So there has been an evaluation of the No Check Ask campaign, and it has been published in the British Medical Journal. So overall, there was a very positive response to the No Check Ask campaign message and its materials. There was limited knowledge and awareness of the purpose and value of keeping a list, but overall it was considered to be very beneficial. The list is used in a variety of situations, but the complexity and a concern about emergencies were the main drivers for its use. Concerns, however, did occur about accuracy, healthcare staff time constraints, the ability of people with multiple medicines or cognitive impairment to manage. Facilitators included promotion of lists by healthcare staff and access to digital compact lists. So the HSE app is coming with this facility. It'll have a My Medicines list on the app, and that'll be available in the next year. So just some tips for My Medicines list. So some people do find it useful to keep a photo of the list on their phone. Some people find it more accessible that way, or indeed they can take a photo of their medicines with the labels in full view. So it can be helpful for them to share this list with a family member or a carer. They should bring this list with them when attending any healthcare appointment. And it's just important for them not to assume their healthcare team member will have this information. So if there are any changes to their medicines, encourage them to ask their doctor, pharmacist, or nurse to explain any changes. And it's important to keep the list up to date by adding any new medicines to the list or drawing a line through any medicines that they no longer use. So just some suggested actions. Don't forget to enclose a My Medicines list with appointment letters and in admission and discharge packs. Display posters and videos in waiting rooms or public areas and make blank medicines lists available. Facilitate residents to compile and maintain their own medication list with the support of family if required. Don't forget to promote the My Medicines list and the No Check Ask campaign at public and staff events and the e-learning at staff events. Together, we can work to reduce medication without harm. And there's just a nice map from the World Health Organization. Join us in achieving medication without harm. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you were able to take a couple of things away with you today.
Thank you, Grainne. I see there are a couple of questions in the chat. One from Francis: is there any timeline for an app version of No Check Ask list?
So the My Medicines list will be on the HSE app, and they are, I think they're in the quite advanced stages of releasing this. So I'd imagine that will be in the first maybe quarter or second quarter of 2025, hopefully.
Okay, and then another one from Emma: does everyone use My Medicines list in older person services, as there was a GDPR concern there because there is a prescription chart already?
Okay, I haven't actually, I'm not aware of that. I mean, I can, if they'd like to email to the email address that I provided, it's safermeds@hse.ie. I can confirm that.
My opinion, Grainne, was, and I posted just now, was that the My Medicines list is most useful for transitions of care, and obviously people in older people's services, mainly residential units where Emma works, potentially when they're going in and out, from maybe to acute care or to whatever, some other care, that they may be useful there. But as Emma rightly points out, and you've already said yourself, that it's one of the most reliable sources of information, that that an older person's residential facility would have very good records.
Absolutely. Yeah, it meets the gold standard in the WHO.
I also have a question, Grainne. I was delighted to see all the translations, and you may have already answered this, but is it just from English to a foreign language, or does it go in the reverse direction?
So it's just from English into the foreign languages. So there's English, and then there's 52 different translations. And as I said, Irish is our latest one. So that's the way around. But I'm multilingual now at this stage, Ida.
And any plans for the reverse traffic? Because I would imagine, with reflecting our, increasing diversity of our population, that it would be fantastic, and all the languages that we are, on a day-to-day basis we are dealing with, that if it was in the reverse direction, that it would be equally, if not more, useful.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we appreciate all the feedback that we can get, and that's something I will raise with my colleagues. It's been such a massive project to get it translated into so many languages, and we've just gotten the Irish Sign Language version on the video as of the last few weeks as well. So it's kind of been a huge amount of work to do all that. But absolutely, I will take a note of that, Ida, and thanks very much for that feedback. We welcome it all.
Thanks, Grainne. I don't see it. Does the medication list replace, sorry, there is a question there from Margaret, does the medication list replace the medication Cardex for residential placements?
I'm actually not a pharmacist. I work alongside pharmacists, so I'm actually not sure I can get an answer on that. But I mean, the My Medicines list is something that we are trying to promote, and I'm not familiar with the Cardex, but anything that can help reduce medication related harm.
I think the answer to that one, Grainne, would be that the medication Cardex is the legal document, and the My Medicines list is simply a patient-held aid to reduce harm.
Thanks, Colin.
And just one final one I see there from Sinead. Is there accessible information for the No Check Ask campaign?
I mean, that it's detailed on our website. If people want to go onto it and have a look, it does speak about it there, and it speaks about the WHO challenge. So that should answer that question. I invite anyone who has a spare minute during their working day to go on our website, so hse.ie/safermeds, and there's plenty of information there, not just for healthcare professionals, but also for patients. And I know most of us are indeed patients at some stage of our life as well.
That's, on that very thought-provoking note there, Grainne, I think we'll say thank you. Really, I thought that was very interesting presentation.